Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to another week of TCG News. As always, if you guys are looking for forcible singles or sealed product, be sure to click in the link in the description below for Happy Little Hug Factory, where they have pre-orders for the new set coming out next in a couple months, the starter decks for that set, as well as they have new stuff for Caster Chronicles sets, as well as singles for Caster Chronicles that are now exclusively on their website. So make sure you click that link in the description below when you go to make your purchase so they know we sent you over. Also by DKP Accessories with their magnetic playmat. You can once again click that link in the description, use code TCG for 5% off their magnetic playmat and accessories like refills of those magnetic inserts. So be sure to check that out as well. So we got a couple cool things to go over this week. As always, if you guys want an article version of the news, be sure to check out our website at tcgscripts.com. I'll have it linked below as well for the actual article for this news if you guys need to reference anything specific or previous week's news as well. It's all there on the website. So the first bit of news is the CR got updated finally. So this actually was expected sometime this month, and it actually came out like a couple hours or something like that after I actually posted the news from last week. Go figure. But with this CR update you can go check it out on their website and just click on comprehensive rules, and all of the new updates are marked in red. I highly recommend for you or anyone else to go and read that over so you can convey it to everyone at your locals and help settle any confusion that might be happening as well. But some of these updates, or the main sort of one that stood out to me, was the confirmation that Alice, the Resonator, does in fact gain every race inside of the game, so all 200 something of them. And inside of the CR, they actually listed every single one of those races, so you can go check that out whenever you want, and you can actually see exactly what everything she becomes. Also, not technically in the CR, but in a separate update that FOW did, they confirmed that the Lucifer Resonator, how he works with his life gains. So people are curious what all he works with, if it's just life you pay or life you lose and different things like that. And so they confirmed that it is all those things plus damage you take as well in that turn. So whatever that might entail or take, since I believe his effect only works on your specific turn, but it's basically all forms of life gain. Whether or not this might go into higher power levels or not, I'll leave you guys to figure out or decide, but it's good to know going forward. There is also a Caster Chronicles tournament happening in Canada. You can check out the TCG News article version, and I have a link over to the official tournament page if you guys want to know more information. But some cool news that came out is the Caster Acrylics. So some of the pricing will be acrylic cards of the casters. They're not actual cards, it's actually just acrylics of the artwork of the casters themselves. So it's actually really nice and pretty looking. So and it includes some of artwork that I personally really like from one of my favorite artists. Other pricing includes chibi art cards among other things, so definitely go check that out if you are, I guess, in the area, or if you play casters. It'd be something you definitely want to look forward to as well. We also got confirmation on memorial cards and how they will be distributed inside of packs. So this has been one question that's been coming up, and it's one thing I covered where I had said because there's 80 memorial cards, if they put like 3 of them inside of the pack or 5 of them, then you're just flooding the market with them with these sort of filler cards. But if you only put 1 per pack, it defeats the whole purpose of having reprints, which people were saying, oh, you reprint to give access to people who might not have those cards. But if it's only 1 per pack and there's 80 of them, then that defeats that purpose as well. But we did get confirmation, and this is thanks to Chris Weekly First World Update, that there will be officially 1 memorial card per pack, it looks like. So in my opinion, this is the best case scenario going forward from it, outside of just flooding it, since most of these cards are available and easy to access. I didn't think that people really needed more access to these cards. So a scenario which I think this could actually turn out really well is if they took those memorial cards and treated them a lot more special, such as doing alternate art or adding cool gold borders or a stamp on it, something like that to make it a cool collectible item. And then I could see this actually working out a lot better and making these reprints make more sense. And if they're legal in New Frontiers, then if you have access to the old cards as well and it's not limited to just these newer printed ones, then that would be the best case scenario, I think, for these memorial cards and how they're distributed as well. We still have to wait to find out how the other rarities will be distributed going forward, but it's safe to assume they'll be similar, if not the same. It's just sort of how they'll deal with the new normal rarity and what slot the memorial card will replace. A new ruler was revealed as well, so we actually are going to be talking about this a little bit more in depth in the podcast, but you can see the ruler here. It's introduces new typing such as strangers in a stranger deck, among other things, and it interacts with regalia, including the regalia we had seen leaked a while back that we covered here on the news. So that's kind of cool. This is going to actually be the buy a box promo, so when you go to buy one of these booster boxes, it'll just be the one that's automatically included inside of the box itself. I think this is actually a really good idea. It makes it so that you have the ruler guaranteed inside of each booster box. You don't have to worry about digging through the packs. It is confirmed it won't be inside of the booster packs. It'll literally just be the buy a box promo. And since the boxes are only $48, there will be a lot easier access for people buying booster boxes, and because there'll be more boxes bought, it'll flood the market, and so this ruler will be really cheap. So I think this is probably the best route to go for a ruler that is not inside of a starter deck, especially since we weren't expecting another ruler outside of the starter deck, so that'll be really cool to see. One thing you might notice right away though is it does in fact just use the exact same art on both sides of the card. So this is really disappointing because this is something that Force of Will is known for, is their art, and so especially the rulers and be double-sided. So if you just flip it over and it's the same on both sides, well that's very disappointing. So people were very understandably not too happy with it, although it wasn't overwhelmingly so. The last time I could think there was something like this was with the Vlad promo card, which was just a promo of a easily available ruler, and people were they weren't upset, but they weren't super enthusiastic about it being just the same image on both sides. And I believe the Vin Golf rulers were basically the same image on both sides, but that's understandable. It's a Vin Golf, so I don't really count those. But so yeah, hopefully this isn't the trend for all rulers going forward. It's just this one thing for this promo, but like I said, we'll have to wait and see on that. Also, with that ruler, we also got a reveal of 2 different cards as well. These aren't official spoilers. In fact, the card art revealed is straight up like from the actual card PDF. You can see it extends way beyond the borders and stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure where this is officially come from, but these are from China. I don't know when the spoilers will officially start, but for now we got these 2. And so we got the first one right here, which unofficially translates to I forget if it's a J ruler or J resonator, but it loses all its abilities and then it's destroyed. And if a J ruler was destroyed this way, it loses all abilities and effects until the end of the game. So basically it would die and become astral and not be able to use any of its front side abilities or effects and stuff like that until the end of the game, which is a pretty crazy combination there. The other card is just a 1 cost. You can choose one, and if you control Lars, you get to choose both, and it's a destroy a Resonator with total power or attack 900 or more, I believe that is, or search your deck for a 5 heroes card and put it into your hand. So we'll have to wait and see what a 5 heroes card is, but that's a pretty generic card that we'll see. I'm surprised it's actually SR rarity. Doesn't seem quite like that, but. Also, this past weekend, the Force of Will Festival happened. This was the one hosted by Ruler School, and a total of 54 people ended up attending. He ended up giving time-spinning witch promos to everyone. Top 8 got their Veidt Ramen playmats. I believe Veidt Ramen was also in play there, and a bunch of other prizing. It was pretty crazy. If you guys are curious, the entire thing was streamed on the Ruler School channel, so if you want to catch up on any of the games that were streamed there, just go check them out over there. But yeah, so there was a pretty diverse array of rulers. Top 8 consisted of 3 Hanzo, a Lich, a Loki, an Ayu, an Isis, and I forget what the last one is off the top of my head. We'll have full details of this on our website at some point, and we do go over the top 4 of the lists that are in the top 8 on the Patreon podcast, but they're very interesting lists, to say the least. But we'll hopefully break down the full top 8 either in a Joe's Corner or in a podcast later. But it was really cool to see that sort of showing for that event, and we'll see if it inspires events going forward as well. Especially with the Veidt Ramen circuit series about to kick off. Speaking of which, I did do an interview with the CEO of Veidt Ramen. You can catch that on the podcast tomorrow, and the interview itself will be available later this week just as a standalone by itself, and it's also available on Patreon by itself if you guys want to check that out if you're a patron. But we talk a lot about a lot of interesting things, obviously about the circuit, what brought it on, their hopes for it and for the future, and different things like that. So I'd highly recommend going and checking that out either on the podcast or later this week. It's a very interesting conversation. And lastly, I got a Godzilla video incoming. So Chrono Clash came out with the Godzilla card game, and I decided to make a unique video where I go over all the cards that are inside the Chrono Clash card game and what their significance is lore-wise with Godzilla, and explaining their backstory very briefly throughout all the cards. It's going to have me and show the card, and behind me, because I'll have the green screen like this, behind me will be showing the video clips and everything that are relevant, as well as music, etc. I'm going to be putting a lot of effort into it, so I really hope you guys check it out, even if you're not interested in the card game. I think the lore side of it will be really interesting, especially for any Godzilla fans or passerbys and stuff like that. So definitely check that out if you can. It'll be coming out hopefully by next week at the latest. But that's all the news for this week. Let me know what you guys think, or if I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. Thanks you guys for watching. If you want to support us, join us over at patreon.com/tcgscrubs, and I'll see you guys next week.